Good morning, dear teachers and students. My name is Roshan. My surname is Джуматаева. I'm an English teacher of Nazarbayev Intellectual School of Physics and Mathematics in Astana. Today we are having our lesson devoted to writing task 1 for IELTS. And what are we doing now? First, I want you to think and say what is the topic of our lesson. Can you guess it? Look at this information, which are represented in the form of graphs, diagrams, and tables. Sure, you know, we are going to talk about description of graphs, diagrams, and tables, which we usually do when we complete the writing task 1 during the IELTS exam. So that's why the topic of our lesson is description of graphs and tables. What are the aims of our lesson? First, we should understand the different features and purpose of graphs and tables. We should identify significant information to use in the answer. We should learn how to organize the description of a graph or table. And we will learn language graphs. These are the aims of our lesson. Now we can brainstorm, and I want you to tell me what graph is. On your board you see the lines around this circle, and you can take your pen and write down the words you associate with this word, a graph. You have time. You can discuss with your friends, with your classmates, and write down separate words which you associate with this word, a graph. Good job. So, I know that you have written a lot of words, and in short we can say that a graph is a visual information. So, and we can use graphs and charts because it is very useful to communicate visually. And that's why graphs are very often used in newspapers, magazines, and business around the world. Have you ever thought why we use graphs to present the information? Do you have any ideas? You know it. That's great. So, sometimes it is very difficult to understand the information if it is written by words or told orally. And in the situation when we see the graphs and charts, we can very easily get the point across if we see it visually. And do you know the names of graphs? Do you know the types of graphs? Yes, these are they. So the names are bar chart. Bar chart can be single bar, double bar, and complex bar charts. Another type of graphs is line graph. Line graphs can be single line and double line. We also know about pie graph, and there are single pie chart and double pie chart. Also, another feature of graph is a table, and one more is process. These are the different features of graphs and tables. Look at this description, please. If we talk about figures and read this text, what do you feel after reading this text? Look, read please. According to US Census estimates, the population of Texas grew from 17 million 45,000 people in 1990 to 18,378,000 in 1994. The population of Massachusetts grew from 6,018,000 people in 1990 to 6,041,000 people in 1994. Was it easy for you to understand this information? Usually it is not so easy to read and understand or absorb this information. Reading about data can be very awkward, and when the information is presented like this, it's sometimes very hard to grasp the important information and to see the essential messages that may be behind the numbers. But if this information were presented as a chart or as a picture, it would be much easier to understand. So look at this table, please. And you see, it is presented the population figures above as a table. What do you feel now? The table allows you to scan for important points more easily. Now we can easily see that both Texas and Massachusetts experienced a growth in population between 1990 and 1994. We can also see that Texas has a much larger population than Massachusetts. What else is hiding in this data, though? What else can we learn? If we present the same population figures as a picture, we can learn still more about population growth in these two states. Take a look at these two simple bar charts that represent the data above. These are they. The first is population of Massachusetts and the second is population of Texas. And you can easily see that bar graph makes the messages in the data much more visible. You can easily see, for example, that the population of Texas grew faster than that of Massachusetts during those years. The bar graph gives you new clues about the information. It shows you patterns that you might not notice in a text or a table format. And you have heard this saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words. That's why we are talking about graphs and tables today, this lesson. Can you name this graph? Yes, it's a map. Can you name the next graph? That's correct. That is a process diagram. Can you name this graph? Good job. This is a bar chart. Can you name the next graph? You see the lines. Yes, that is a line graph or two line graphs. Can you name this graph? You have seen this before. It's a table. Good job. That's nice. So, and today we are going to talk also about 5 steps of writing this task 1. The first step and the second, it is necessary to identify types of charts and look for trends. So, the first is we are going to talk about bar charts. You see, a bar chart consists of rectangular bars arranged horizontally or vertically from the x or y axis. And the length of a bar shows the values it represents. The values are listed on one axis and each bar shows what is being measured on the other axis. Bar charts are useful for comparing data. In studying a bar chart, you may want to look for the following information. Which is the tallest bar? Which is the shortest bar? Have the bars changed over time? And how? How do the bars compare to each other? And now we are talking about pie chart. A pie chart is a circular chart divided into sectors or pie slices. It presents the information in segments of a circle or pie, which together add up to 100%. Here is an example. When you work with a pie chart, you should ask yourself the next questions. Which is the largest segment? Which is the smallest segment? How do the segments compare with each other? Next graph we are talking about is a line graph. A line graph plots the changes in data over time. Now on this graph we are looking at average daily temperatures. And when we work with a line graph, you should ask yourself, what is the highest level? What is the highest point? What is the lowest level? What is the lowest point? Is there a point till when the trend was increasing or decreasing? When did the trend change? If you answer this question, it will be very easy for you to define the information from the line graphs. What is concerned tables, the information is the next. A table presents information in different categories, making it easy to compare. The sample table below shows the percentage of students who came to college on foot, by car, bicycle, or public transportation at Williams College in the year 2005-2006. So, methods of student travel to college by percentage. Walking 12%, bicycle 20%, car 25%, and public transport 43%. When we work with tables, it is necessary to answer the next questions. What is the highest figure? What is the lowest figure? What is the second highest? And etc. Step number 3 for working with writing task 1 is vocabulary of trends. Everyone knows that it is very important to learn and to use this vocabulary in description. You must be able to use the appropriate verbs, nouns, adjectives, and adverbs to provide precise descriptions. And step 4 is, it is necessary to write your answer according to a plan. First, you should write one sentence to introduce the subject and graphic. Second, write 1 or 2 sentences to show the relationship between the data or to comment on the main trend. Third, write an in-depth description of the information given. Include details from the most important to the least important, depending on time. Fourth, write 1 sentence to conclude your answer. That is the plan for writing the answer concerning the writing task 1. Step 5 is about what not to write. First, remember please, you should only describe the data. Second, you do not give your interpretation of it. You are not being asked why you think the data in the chart is the way it is. So do not write about that. It means know your own opinions, know your own interpretation. So these 5 steps will help you to write your writing task 1 on IELTS properly. Now it's time to watch a video. Watch that video and I hope that you are ready with your answers. So let's remember the questions and tell me your answers please. The first question is, How much time do you have to write an essay for writing task 1? Good, yeah, 20 minutes. That is right. The second question is, what is the synonym of the phrase paraphrase the question? Yeah, quite right. Rewrite the question. What does the term overview mean? The correct answer is summary. Overview synonym is summary.
Hi, my name's Pete. I'm an IELTS tutor and the company director of eEnglishTeacher.com. What you're looking at here is the sample IELTS academic writing task 1 chart from the official IELTS website. It might be a good idea if you pause the video for a minute at this point to have a look at the chart. As you probably know, in IELTS academic writing task 1, you have to summarize the information in a chart, graph, table or diagram. You may also know that it's important to start your summary with a sentence paraphrasing the introduction you are given. In other words, it's important to reword the introduction rather than just copy it or copy parts of it. And in this video, I'd like to give you 3 quick tips for how to do this. The first tip is to change the word shows to illustrates or provides information about. The second tip is for introductions that contain the phrase the number of to change this phrase to how many. If the introduction contains the phrase how many, you can change it to the number of. The third tip is to look at the chart, graph, table or diagram and check to see if there are any words or phrases you could use to replace words or phrases in the introduction. In this example, we could replace the information about the time, in 3 periods, with the 3 years given in the chart. This now only leaves us with a couple of phrases to change. And here we have it, a paraphrased introduction. If you practice paraphrasing introductions to IELTS academic writing task 1 charts, graphs, tables and diagrams, you should find it easier and quicker to write an introduction in your IELTS writing test. For more IELTS tips and suggestions for your IELTS preparation, have a look at our IELTS preparation blog on our website.
Well done. Now we have our time for quiz. Look at this table and answer the question. We collected data about the color of shoes worn by 30 adults in a group. From the bar chart in front of you, find the second most popular color of shoes amongst men. Are they black? Are they brown? Or are they red? So, what is your answer? The second question is, from the same bar chart, find the second most popular color of shoes amongst women. Black, brown or red? From the same bar chart, please determine how many adults wore white shoes. 1, 2 or 3? Question number 4. From the bar chart, find the total number of women who took part in the survey of shoe colors. 30, 17, 15, or 13. So, we are going to answer the questions, and you have time to think about the answers. Let's see the answers. So the correct answer for question number 1 is B, brown. You see, the tallest bar is for the color black, and the second tallest bar is for the color brown. The second answer is C, red. The tallest bar for women is for the color black, and the second tallest bar is for the color red. That's why we can define that the second most popular color of shoes among women. Question number 3. The correct answer is B. 1 man and 1 woman had white shoes. The next answer is D. Count the numbers represented by the green bars. 4 plus 2 plus 3 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 is 13. So, that's nice. We have done the quiz, and you remember we have talked about the verbs, adjectives, nouns we can use for description the graphs and tables. That's why vocabulary time is. Look at these verbs. Rose, went up, increased, grew, shot up, surged, rocketed. Are they verbs or nouns? Sure, they are verbs. What tense do they show? What tense are they? That's correct. Past simple. And pay attention to the next. All these verbs show the meaning going up. So they are synonyms and show the meaning going up. So if we talk about going down, we use the next verbs. Decreased, fell, dropped, declined, went down, plummeted. We can also use the next adjectives and adverbs for describing small challenges. Gently, gradually, slightly, steadily, a little. And if we describe large changes, we can use also If we describe large changes, we can use such kind of adverbs and adjectives like suddenly, sharply, dramatically, steeply, a lot. When we are talking about high points, we use the next phrases. Reached a peak. You remember peak means when the graph looks like the peak of a mountain. Peaked, reached their highest level. For low points, we use the next phrases. Fell to a low, sank to a through, reached a bottom. Expressions of time we use for description is the next. In 2012, recent years, over the year, over the period, between 1980 and 2012, from 1980 until 2012. Since, you should say the point of time, since 2011, for, you can also use a period of time. For the period, for 5 months, Here you can see some examples of using noun and verb forms. Sales rose from $5 to $140. There was a rise in sales of $90. Sales fell to $25 million in 1998. There was a fall in sales of $25 million in 1998. Sales fell by 2%. There was a slight fall in sales of 2%. It peaked at 23%. It reached a peak of 23%. It fluctuated between 5 and 7%. There was a fluctuation of 3%. Another video we are going to watch is about 3 quick tips for writing IELTS Academic Writing Task 1 Introduction. And you can see here more useful information how to describe graphs and tables for IELTS Writing Task 1.
Here's some general advice for IELTS Writing Task 1, the academic paper. You only have 20 minutes for this essay, so you need to be prepared. You need a method. My method is to try to write 4 paragraphs so that the essay has 4 clear sections. I follow the same steps for each paragraph every time. My 4 paragraphs are introduction, overview, and 2 paragraphs with specific details. For the introduction, I just paraphrase the question. This means that you rewrite the question statement by changing some of the words and maybe changing something about the sentence order. Next, for the overview, this is a summary of the most noticeable features. This could be an overall trend or change, or it could be the highest and lowest figures. Then, for the last 2 paragraphs, paragraphs 3 and 4, I try to write 2 paragraphs containing specific details. So why 2 paragraphs? Well, the reason is just because it looks more organized instead of having one big paragraph full of information. In these 2 paragraphs, you should select key information, include numbers, and make comparisons. So, that's my 4 paragraph method. If you want to put the overview at the end as a conclusion, that's fine. It will not change your score. To see examples of this method and essays written in this way, go to the website ieltssimon.com.
You have watched that video, and I hope that you have learned more information about writing task 1. And now, here is the feedback. Please tick the phrase that expresses your opinion about today's lesson. First, I have learned a lot of new information for me. I know all this material. There is nothing new. That is the second answer. The third answer is, it was so boring, I could hardly wait for the end of the lesson. Please tick any sentence you like. And that is your home task. You should fill in the gaps with the right word. Look at this text. There are also some words in a green box. You should fill them in gaps. All the materials you can find on this website. And if you want to see this lesson again, you can go to the website moodle.nis.edu.kz. Thank you very much for your attention. Have a nice day. Goodbye.